There are a lot of careers out there, but few are as competitive as the film industry. Although from the outside making movies may seem like a really cool job, which it is.
29 cigarettes, take 1 mark.
It's also a tough occupation that isn't for the faint of heart. Rising to the top and taking on a head of department role, like cinematographer, is no easy task. Today I'll go over the 2 traditional paths that people take to become DOPs, going to film school and working on film sets, and talk about a possible third option, the option I'm pursuing, to become a working cinematographer. When people discuss film school, they usually only discuss 2 things: its role in teaching students about filmmaking and about giving students access to gear. Rarely do they talk about what I see as the most important aspects of film school, providing an environment which forces you to shoot a lot of films, and introducing students to cultivate relationships with fellow filmmakers. The only way to get cinematography work is through creating relationships with directors and producers. They are the gatekeepers of deciding which DOP shoots a project. So I'd say the biggest advantage of film school lies in the potential of meeting and forming a network of bonds with collaborators and future employers. Take Emmanuel Lubezki, for example, one of the most famous DOPs in the business. How did he start shooting for Alfonso Cuarón? They studied at the same film school together. Having access to expensive film gear and being forced to shoot as much content as possible will also help your growth as a DOP. Taking the path of attending a film school can therefore potentially fast-track your career, especially if you're able to shoot a project with some festival success during film school. However, I think there's a misconception that talented students coming out of film school will immediately start working as a DOP. There may be a handful of unusual cases where it occurs, but most of the time going to film school is only the first stepping stone on the way to working as a HOD. There are also many boundaries to attending a film school, the most obvious of which is price. So what other paths exist for people who are not able to study at film school? Another path to becoming a DOP is working up the hierarchical ladder on set as a crew member. Typically on a film set you start at the bottom as a production assistant.
Okay, you're the boss, man.
Where you do everything, from making people coffee to driving around doing errands or helping out any department that needs it on set. You can then slowly make your way up whatever department you desire, camera department, lighting department, grips department, until you begin to work as a camera operator and eventually as a DOP. Because of its hierarchical nature, this traditional path is usually a long one that requires years of work and making connections to move up. However, it also has its advantages. Working on set teaches you an incredible amount. You learn about technical gear, how to interact with people, how to work quickly under pressure. You are able to observe various cinematographers and directors at work, and you learn how to deal with working on set from an emotional standpoint. It's one thing reading up online about how to build a camera or rig a light, but doing it in person is something altogether different. Certain things are learned better by doing them. I think regardless of what path you want to pursue to becoming a DOP, spending time on an industry set should be a prerequisite. People interested in becoming filmmakers should experience being on a set before deciding if it's the industry for them, because the reality is that it's not for everyone. It can be a tough job. It's not as glamorous as people think. As you start at the bottom, building relationships with crew members can take time. But if you work hard and are looking to learn and improve your skill set, the relationships that you do build will be strong ones. The reality is that although these are 2 starting points on the way to a career in cinematography, neither approach is absolute. The third and most common path is one that is a mix of methods, building your career through a combination of on-set experience, online or school-based cinematography education, and shooting as much as possible to build up relationships with directors and simultaneously build up a reel. This is the approach I'm taking. I try to accumulate technical knowledge from working on set, more philosophical knowledge from watching films or analyzing art, and practical knowledge from shooting films by myself or with directors that I've built relationships with. With this path, it's possible to acquire information and experience from many different sources. Reading articles online, watching videos on filmmaking, going to film festivals and listening to Q&As, making films with your phone, or talking to the gaffer on a film set about lighting. Try to use whatever resources you have available to grow your skill set. Once you're able to start a basic network in the film industry, it'll grow naturally, through word of mouth and working on different projects. No matter how you get there, the path to a career as a cinematographer has to be an active one. You have to be constantly striving to improve your skills, your knowledge, and network of employers. Typically, this should all happen simultaneously. In the advancement of any career, there will always be an element of luck, whether it's replacing a colleague who's retiring, or a company having a good year and expanding their staff. The film industry is no different. People often talk about this idea of getting a break, but breaks can only be gotten if you're skilled and put yourself in the right position at the right time. Some people make it early in their careers, many don't. The path to becoming a cinematographer requires constant work and diligence. Gary Player, a South African golfer, summed it up best by saying, "The more I practice, the luckier I get." Thanks for watching this video. I'm pleased to see that there's been increasing engagement in the comments recently. Asking questions or presenting your theories in the comments is another avenue to improve your awareness and cinematic growth. So until next time, thanks for watching and goodbye.